what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Taco Cat. We're here in the labs. Not really, just my little tooth bedroom. I was gonna make a YouTube video about Starfield because it's getting close and I'm excited like everybody else. But the last couple of days I've been watching this whole Linus LTT, Linus Media Group drama, and then Gamers Nexus got into it, and I just watched Linus's video that they just dropped today, and we're gonna check it out and see what's going on. I did watch this video right here, and I love Gamers Nexus. I love the way he reports on news and seems to me like a real journalist, and just the different things he does, the product tests. I love his videos, and he just calls it like it is. And on the other hand, I love LTT. I've been watching Linus and those guys. I follow all their channels, the WAN Show, Short Circuit, I think it is, all the different channels, MAC Address, love them. But it's just crazy, all the drama going on, and so Linus has put out a video and put everybody in it, and so we're gonna check it out. So let's see here, Taryn Tong, the chief executive officer now. Linus has kind of not stepped down, but kind of taken more of a taking the burden off of him. Because I've watched some episodes in the past on how they do their videos and the enormous pressure they're under, and they got to put out videos
Charge
every
complete.
day. Boom, boom. And I think it just got to them. I think they just pushed themselves and worked themselves so hard. And believe me, I mean, if you look, I mean, they got 15.5, million followers. And, I mean, they have, I don't even know how many channels. I think 7, 8, maybe 10. I don't know. They have channels, and they all do well. And I love it. I think they're funny. I think they're informative. All the different characters and guys, they between like the keyboard reviews and just different news, and then obviously my favorite's the MAC address, everything about Mac. But I mean, with this whole thing with the water block and the testing, and it's a small company, and the mix up in data. From my personal opinion, I just think that Linus, they were just too overworked. I mean, you put yourself on that kind of pace, and mistakes are going to happen. And so I looked through the timeline. I already watched this video. We're going to play it again and kind of go through it. But to me, it seems like when the internet's a real funny place, because when people get behind something, especially in certain kind of communities, whether it's gaming, YouTube, tech, like once the ball gets rolling, there's kind of no way to stop it. And so we're going to watch this video. We're going to see really what's going on, and just hear it from them. So let's turn up the volume. Let's get full screen, and let's see.
Community outcry demanding change. I'm here because I agree with the community. We do have a lot of work to do. Before we talk about that, while I wish us on better terms, I just want to say I'm very glad to meet you all. I have spent the last couple of decades on the corporate side, but my educational background is in computer science. My first role in the tech industry was as the writer at NeoSeeker. My history building gaming PCs goes even further back, to when I built a Celeron 300A rig because everyone assured me it was guaranteed to overclock to 450 megahertz. I guess my trip didn't really get the memo. In any case, it feels really good to be back on most days. I'm only 6 weeks into the job, but in that time I've seen a lot. I've looked at some budgeting, some team building, and operations. But my main focus has been to be a fly on the wall and gain an understanding of what's going right and what's going wrong. There's a lot of both. I've asked the team to unflinchingly address both the concerns that have been raised and how we intend to fix them, with the money we'll make from our sponsor.
So, from what I remember, he was Linus's old boss at NZXT? No. He was Linus's old boss from what I remember. I think he worked with Dell and some other, like, this guy, he knows knows his stuff, and that's why they brought him in. Um, him and Yvonne. This is Linus's wife. I think she's the chief financial officer, I want to believe. And so we're gonna see. I mean, this guy now, he's the head of the company. He's not the owner. Obviously, Linus is the owner. But he's the first one who shows up in the video, and I mean that's his job when you're in that spot. That's so. Let's see what Yvonne has to say.
Just kidding. I was asked for unflinching, and here it is. Linus is a human gas molecule. You've been telling him for years, and I've been telling him for years. Staying relevant on YouTube is hard for everyone, but we aren't fighting for survival anymore, and we don't need to run at this pace. In fact, in some ways, it's our efforts to keep doing more and keep doing better that have created our current situation. My background is in managing a pharmacy, where the small details matter a lot. And basically, I agree with the community, so I'm putting my foot down. Effective immediately, all YouTube video production is on pause. And our teams are going to be spending this entire next week focusing on long-term workflow changes to make our content better in a lasting way. This means for the first time in over 12 years, LTT will be missing not just one daily upload, but many. But improving to the degree that we want and need is going to take more than a week. So I'll be working with Taryn and Colton to manage our sponsor commitments and the financial hit of both this housekeeping week and a reduction in our LTT upload schedule. At least for now, while we get our house in order. But before anyone gets concerned that we're going to cut investments into the well-being of our personnel and our future capabilities, I can assure you that I've read the criticisms that we weren't willing to spend $500 to test a product, and as the one that manages the finance.
So, when it comes to when she just said the $500 to retest the product, Linus was on the WAN show, and he made that comment about spending one, two, three, even $500 of somebody's time to retest the product. Now, the whole thing behind this is that there was a water block from a small company that got reviewed. It was, I believe, it was supposed to be for a 3090, and they put a 4090 on it, or some. They put the wrong GPU, and it didn't work. And so the water block was made for a certain thing, and they tested it on something else. And so the data came back, and it's, go watch it. It's very interesting. But from what my knowledge in watching, I've watched all their videos. It's just, they're a good channel, great channel. All their channels are great. People are great. But like she said, the schedule they're under with the different teams from the different it just seems to be chaos when you're under that amount of pressure, paid sponsors, money, and tech and reviews, and it just seems like so much. And it I think this was the tipping point when you have other channels making full-blown videos, as me, I'm nobody, I'm one subscriber, making a video about this. I mean, and they're bringing out all the horses. I mean, you got to see, now you got the chief financial, somebody said, look, we got to, the community is not happy, and when the community is not happy, I mean, it is what it is. They could turn on you quick. So let's see.
I can tell you that couldn't be further from the truth. Linus made a clear and egregious judgment error regarding retesting a product he felt was impractical. That was wrong, and I've told him so. He allowed his personal feelings on the matter to cloud his judgment. And I want to stress that our organization is committed to our ongoing investments in making our content better. And we will do better as a team. Why don't I let our chief money spender take it from here?
Hi, I'm Gary, head of labs. First off, we've made some mistakes. Too many. We're hoping.
So Labs is the new building where they do all their testing. They bought all this equipment. I mean, they spent some serious money. And this is where they do all the testing on different products. I mean, it's crazy. And obviously, this is the guy who's head of it. And it's a pretty big part of what they do. And their testing, I mean, they do a lot of testing. Not just, reviews or different projects, but I think one of their main goals, they bought a building and have a lot of people working in there just strictly for testing. and so they made a pretty significant commitment. So let's see what he's got to say. Head of Labs.
Hoping that it's how we deal with them moving forward that will define who we are. And regardless, it's clear that we need to serve you better. So our team will be spending our week publishing living documents for our testing standards and opening them up to feedback from the community and our peers in the industry, should they wish to participate. We will also task part of the team with going back through every video with Labs data to ensure accuracy, make full corrections, and if there are any fundamental issues with the workflow design or results, pull or replace that video outright.
So what he's saying is, or what Gamers Nexus pointed out, is they had inaccurate data that they were posting when it comes to, let's say, testing GPUs and comparing them to other GPUs on certain games, certain resolutions, and they were having a lot of inaccurate data that were posted. And so if you're a consumer, the thing is, especially what Gamers Nexus said, is that you have an obligation that your channel affects the consumer. You know, if I watch a video and you say, hey, the 4060 is a better value and it does better in these games than a 4070, but the 4070 is a little bit more, you're not getting the price to performance. How many people watch that video and say, oh, that does make sense. Maybe I'll get a 4060 instead of a 4070 or a 4080 Ti, 4090, whatever the case may be. Some people go to YouTube if you don't know what you're doing. Hey, how do I fix a sink, a leaky sink? You go to YouTube. How do you fix a leak? And 1,000 videos pop up. Everybody does it. That's what YouTube's for. But they were posting inaccurate data, and that's what everyone's main concern is. And on top of that, I think that's gotten lost in the whole debacle, where it's not just that the company with the water block. It's more of this has been going on for a long period of time. So people are, I think the water block and the comments made about it and everything that goes with that, I think that was the tipping point. So let's see.
I don't agree with every criticism that's been leveled at my team, but for my part, I need to own what we've done wrong and lay out our action plan for how to move forward. Before I do that, one point I do need to address here is that Linus misspoke when he said we retest for every video. We retest for every project. When we use the same data for our RX 7600 and RTX 4060 Ti videos, we knew in advance that these cards would release 2 days apart and designed a broad test suite that accounted for all the numbers we would need to make those two videos and ran everything at once with no BIOS or driver changes. In fairness to Linus, the project to video ratio is normally 1-to-1, but the devil's in the details. Now, let's talk about what's coming. We will release our current Mark Bench harnesses as open source items so that the community can audit the code around our test integrations. We will do a vlog-style video on Floatplane about our testing from start to finish so you can see how the sausage is actually made. We will open a new community forum post asking for transparency suggestions.
So this guy's just a bunch of bull. Oh, we're going to open this up. We want the community to... You should have been doing this. They should have been doing this. And it goes on just person after person. This is what we're going to do. Ethics and sponsorship and quality control. And it's just... Honestly, to me, it's just a bunch of people not doing their job. But respectfully, when you're put under that sort of pressure and demand of that many videos, mistakes are going to happen. They're going to I do it. If I'm I make mistakes all the time at work. But I'm very small. Just my work is affected. Maybe one or certain things, but when you have this many followers and people that rely on your data and video for maybe information to help them, then it becomes a big deal. And so, blah blah blah. But let's go see what the man himself says. Let's see what Linus has to say.
He's gonna fail again. Hey, it's me. I'm Chief Vision Officer now.
So yes, so the guy at the beginning, he now the CEO. So Linus is more involved with hands-on now. Instead of taking that CEO job away from him and freeing him up, that way he doesn't have to back and forth. Now he can focus on videos and projects and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what the man's got to say.
But realistically, I'm not going to be able to hide behind my recent demotion here. I was the one at the head of the company for each and every mistake that our community has rightly brought to our attention.
Now see, right there, that's what he's supposed to say. Hey, it's me. Linus Media Group. I'm Linus. It's my fault. I think Linus is funny. He's a character. But he says this, and then in certain parts, he gets defensive, and I've seen him do it. It's like, oh, yeah, it's my fault. But, and it's just like, you just leave the butt out, dude. Hey, look, our bad. I messed up. My name's on it. I'm the owner. I handled it wrong. And so, let's continue.
And once again, I made things worse by allowing myself to respond emotionally. It's honestly really hard when people take an internal process error and then they run that all the way to Linus is a thief and wants to auction someone else's intellectual property to the highest bidder, or accuses me of trying to brush something under the rug just because I do think it's important to get all the details before declaring me to be a low-down liar, straight-up piece of shit. We were slow shipping back the GPU that Billet Labs sent us.
So Billet Labs is the company who made the water block, and so apparently after they did the testing and then they didn't send it back to him, they put it up for auction. But he's saying all these things were kind of agreed upon before Gamers Nexus put a video out a couple days ago, and then all of a sudden, because Gamers Nexus has been in contact with the company, and so to me it's like you did something, and then when somebody notices, you're like, oh shit, let's see how you finish.
No way around it. That's our bad. But the delay in communication, the one that prompted the post that you guys just saw, it was less than 2 business days. The second that I was made aware of the situation, on the 14th, I emailed Billet Labs and I explained what happened. I even included Colton's attempt at apologizing and offering, no questions asked, full compensation for their stated value of the product, which happened on the 10th, before we were under any pressure to do so, and without Colton even bothering to check with me or Yvonne before just saying, go for it. He knows that our internal policy is to do the right thing. So...
Okay, so your internal policy is to do the right thing, right? But I feel like, okay, so who wasn't doing their job? Or was Colton under so much pressure that he just made a bad decision? It could be both. I mean, when you're, like I said, when you're put under that amount of pressure, video after video, deadlines, they have a video of their schedule. I don't know how they do it with that much. I mean, they have a lot of people. I want to say they have 120 employees, maybe more. I don't know. Let's continue.
He tried, bless him. I guess his job is safe for another day. And I'm sorry, I guess I've actually gotten a little bit emotional here again. So I'm going to stop there because whatever's being said about me and whatever's being said about the team should never have allowed my feelings to distract from any valid criticism of our work. My decision, for example, to not bother retesting the monoblock, that was obviously wrong, and my lame response on the forum was a huge and unnecessary blunder. I owe you guys better, and I'm sorry. For my part, first, I'm going to be working through the other members of the exec team for any crisis communication moving forward. And second, I'm going to spend my week working with the other teams to develop a system of processes that will help our company fulfill my vision of being a world-class tech media organization. I'm also going to be spending my week just refocusing, guys, on what matters most, which is bringing you guys the best damn content that we can make. It's been over 10 years. Good Lord, it's been almost 15. But I still love tech. I love my team, and even though our relationship's a little rocky right now, I love this community and everything that it stands for. None of that has changed, and none of it is going to.
During my interview, one line from Linus that stood out to me was, I need somebody to come in who I know will be respectful of my life's work. That's when the gravity of what he was asking for dawned on me for the first time. I'm by no means influencer or social media guy, but suddenly I am accountable not only to Linus and Yvonne and the entire staff at LMG, but most importantly to the entire LMG audience. I'm fortunate to be inheriting a wonderful team that is passionate and has a ton of energy who shares the same goal. We celebrate our wins together, and when we make mistakes, we also share the responsibility. I'll be coaching the team on the kinds of deep state corporate stuff that I think I'm reasonably good at. Budgeting, team building, relationship management, business development, operational processes. All things I consider to be essential life skills rather than the tactics of some sort of weird Illuminati conspiracy. We need to be a more well-oiled machine with better accountability as we've gotten more complicated internally.
Blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's what he's supposed to say. So here's his Gamer Nexus. This is his video. And, so Linus Tech Tips, terrible response. Yeah, so the problem, this is his 2 day, the problems with Linus Tech Tips. So, I mean, it's crazy. But I think they, to me, I think they overdid it. Here's Gamers Nexus. Go follow his channel. Really cool dude. I think he's gained. I swore when I watched this 2 days ago, 3 days ago, he was at like 1.7, maybe even less. He's gained some serious followers. I mean, his video's got 3.5 million views, but he's a really cool guy. They don't sugarcoat anything on this channel. And they're friends. I've seen them banter back and forth, and they have each other's number. When Linus, I think, got hacked, I think Gamers Nexus called him in the middle of the night to let him know, because apparently his YouTube channel went crazy. And so, but I think the whole thing with Gamer Nexus was you have to take your personal feelings and relationships out of it and go from that. It has to be business and what's right. Your personal feelings have to be put to the side. And I think that's what Gamers Nexus was more taken back from. I think the Linus video was really kind of drawn out. I think it should have been the CEO and Linus. Like, look, guys, we fucked up. We did. And it's my responsibility to do better. I got to do better. We haven't been doing better. And with my name's on it, Linus Media, I mean, it's just, that's all people, hey, I messed up. You know, that's all. So, yeah, go check them out, man. I'm sure there's going to be some more videos. I want to see how Linus's videos moving forward are going to be. Because, I mean, let's see. So Linus Tech Tips, right? Let's see, how many different channels we got? We got Short Circuit, Tech Quickie, Tech Link, Game Link, Mac Address. Mac Address is my favorite. Go check those guys out. LMG Clips, channel super fun. So 2.2, 4.2, 1.8 million. I mean, so there it is, Linus. That's his name, Tech Tips. I mean, you got 6.5 thousand videos. I mean, they've been doing this a long time. It says 2008. He's got if I'm reading that right, 7 billion views. It's a lot of people. So, I don't know. But if you can do your boy a favor, check me out, Taco Cat. Taco Cat 5 at Taco Cat 504. We're gonna post this video. I got another one from Starfield coming. Once Starfield comes out, I'm gonna start streaming that, and once the new Call of Duty comes out, I'm gonna start on that. I'm dropping this video. Once I'm done, I'm gonna throw it on my MacBook, chop it up a little bit, and go from there. So, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate like, subscribe. You know the drill, man. All right, brother. Later.